No, I never came up with a great idea that bombed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a great idea. My name's Paul Porter. I'm Director of Corporate Design and Usability for the Eastman Kodak Company. I would say that our EasyShare 1 camera was great from a technology perspective. It had a very large display, it had a touch screen. You could share directly from your camera through Wi-Fi network. Nobody had a product like that before. Did it sell as many as we wanted? No. But it wasn't necessarily meant to. It was meant to get the community to recognize that Kodak really knows what it's doing when it comes to digital technology.
Early on, maybe middle 90s, I think, middle 1990s, it was kind of unheard of to imagine more than having a megapixel resolution in your camera. And today, when you think about it, we're getting upwards of 10 megapixel plus for consumer quality camera. My name is Laura Whitby. I'm a business manager for corporate design and usability. We find that products in the marketplace sometimes have a life cycle of around 8 months. It's critical to constantly update and upgrade your product in the marketplace. In the past, in some industries, designers would get involved late in the game, right? They're told, here's a product, and then put a pretty cover on it. And that's not the way we do things here.
Design and usability is a very powerful marketing tool. It's a product development organization, resident within the marketing office. We're a centralized organization inside Kodak because it allows us to maintain a degree of consistency in branding and in product design across different areas of the company. We have industrial designers, which are people who tend to make products look good. Then we have a user interaction group, which is made up of both human factors engineers and user interaction designers. The human factors engineers are the ones that have backgrounds in cognitive psychology, experimental psychology, industrial engineering, and they're the ones that work predominantly in the software area or development for purposes of making workflow simple. That's the reason why our cameras are easier to use than anybody else's. The user interaction designer is more about design. So they're the ones that make the product exciting. So when you turn on a digital camera, EasyShare software today, and you see where you scroll over an icon, it tends to move, or you get transparency of images upon images. Those kind of dynamics are what keeps a consumer engaged in the photographic process. And then we have a graphic design organization that's predominantly responsible for doing packaging for graphics for packaging.
We do look at the technology, and we look at where consumers' needs are in terms of their social trends, if you will, and what's happening in the marketplace. And we put together the consumer needs, the technology needs, and then the business needs, where we want to grow the business.
We send our designers out with our business research people to do the interviewing with consumers versus calling consumers in behind a one-way glass, typical focus group scenario, and asking which camera they like best. Having this interactive dialogue with the consumer allows information to come back to the design team in the finest details. So when they go back to the office, they can start creating design solutions relative to exactly what the consumer said. Now, we've also done ethnographic research, which is going out to people's homes. We observe what their cycle is for shopping, how easy is it to use, what kind of problems do they have. We've done some internet research as well. It allows the designers to be able to communicate with the people, but they don't have to get the people into a certain place or whatever.
We've been very flexible and very nimble in our planning process and thinking about how we deliver products to the consumer.
Speed to market is very important for Kodak. We launch a camera every 4 to 6 months. We do a lot of brainstorming, a lot of concept work, a lot of sketches, models, volume studies, just to get a sense for how a product might be. The dual lens was actually created by one of our engineering folks in Japan. In one case, you can have double the zoom, right, in a very small package. And in the other case, you can have wide angle, and a zoom lens, both in the same package. But still, people, some people just want to take pictures and print them. And our printer docs were very successful in that regard, where you didn't have to work with your computer. You brought your camera home, you stuck it on your printer that was in your kitchen, you pushed the button and you got your prints. And some people, that's exactly what they want to do. And the idea is when somebody goes into a store and they look at a camera shelf and they reach for one of the cameras, they pick up one because it had some sort of an emotional stimulus to their thought process. If they pick it up and start playing with it, then the designer's pretty much done their job, right? That's the most significant step. Then you get into the user interface. So if they turn it on and find that they can take a picture without any difficulty whatsoever, and maybe they can manipulate it, do something with the image, store it and take another one, go through their view process, and all of that without much pain, then user interface people have pretty much done their job. And then if all the other attributes, like the cost is right, they'll buy the product.
Well, what's great is we have new media avenues now than we had in the past, right? With the internet and with online sites, that's a great way to have editors read about it, or have editors write about your product, talk about your product, and create a buzz, if you will, online. And even before that, we'll talk to editors for some key leading magazines and newspapers and show them products earlier. Another great example is with the EasyShare One. We actually opened up EasyShare One stores. It was a temporary store. It was only open for a month and allowed us to generate a lot of excitement just from people walking down the street, happening upon it. It was a bit of a novelty by virtue of it being unique and not having been there before. I think it's important to us to get the right product out for the right consumer. So we see that there are different consumers out there. We want to make sure that we have the right design for each segment.
We fundamentally believe that if the product's designed well and easy to use, people might buy it.